Well, hi. Today is Friday, April 4th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Had a very busy day yesterday, and it all started off with that meeting that I tell you about that I have every Thursday morning. The group is called the Council Bluffs Business Connection, and we were very fortunate to have Council Bluffs Mayor, Chief of Staff. His name is Brandon Garrett, and he came in and gave a full presentation on everything that is being studied right now at the potential of a Dodge Park development. And that is where there's currently a golf course, and they're taking a look to see whether or not it makes sense to develop that for housing. Now, nothing has been settled yet. There's a lot of scuttlebutt online across social media that people believe that decisions have already been made. They haven't. This was something that was made very clear to us yesterday, that just a study is currently going on. They're looking at different options, different plans to see whether it's feasible to do this kind of thing. And it's a long way from a decision even being made at this point. So that was what Brandon was there to talk to us yesterday about, and did a wonderful job. We had a great meeting, great questions were asked, and again, just a study that is currently going on. So I know that there's a lot of passion about this on social media. And they're just, at this point, it's just doing a study. I would encourage you that if you have questions to, get a hold of the mayor's office. They're going to be doing more of these talks out and about. And Brandon even said yesterday, if you know of any other organizations that would like to have this presentation, he'd be happy to do it. So it's an opportunity to actually ask questions from the people that are working on this instead of just going back and forth online. Because here's what I know about being online and getting into these arguments on social media. There's a reason I don't do it. It's because nothing good comes from it. No one is interested in actually learning. They just want to argue. And I don't get into that. So that's one of the reasons why I don't participate. If you have a comment and it's a different view than mine, I'll say thank you for your comment. And that's going to be the end of it. If you have a different view from me and you'd like to have a discussion, let's meet in person. That's my view. And let's sit across the table from a cup of coffee, actually get body language from each other. Okay, this is just me preaching a little bit. Okay, so that was yesterday in the morning. And then later in the afternoon, I had an opportunity to go to an entrepreneurial meetup that was put on by Advanced Southwest Iowa Corporation. I've been to many of these, and they're always a great time and also very informative. I get to meet a lot of people. And one of the things that I talked about yesterday was how important and valuable these meetings have been to me, because the very first one that I went to, it's been over 2 years ago, it might be close to 3 years ago now, I met someone there, and that was Kyle Randy with Tail Slate Agency. And I don't even think he had Tail Slate at the time that we met. I mean, he was in business. I'm not sure if his business was formed yet or not. It might have been. But we are now going to be partnering on bringing you the Celebrate CB Parade that's coming up on May 10th. And we're going to be doing a live webcast of this. It's probably going to be about an hour and a half long. Looking for sponsors, by the way. And we've got sponsors set very, very inexpensively, so we can get a lot of folks to be able to come along and help support this. As cheap as $50. And we can get you a sponsorship inside of the webcast, get you into a scroll. We have other options available as well. I'll put a link to the site where you can go to learn more information about that. It'll be in the description here. So just look for that if you'd like more information, or always, you can reach out to me, toddstuder@gmail.com, and I would love to be able to tell you more about it there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to bringing this online. Now, the idea behind doing this webcast at the parade is not to have you watch it on TV instead of come. It is always better to be at a live event than to see it on a TV screen, or especially on a phone screen. I mean, if you've got your phone up and you're looking at the parade like this, it's not the same as being there. And this is a wonderful event, and there's going to be activities going on in Bayless Park all day long. That's where we're going to be close to there. We don't have all of it finalized yet as far as where we're going to be set up, what angles we'll have. It's going to be a multiple camera event, and we'll be able to bring you a lot of different shots from there. And we'll talk with different people that are at the parade. So all of that's going to be coming up. But first and foremost, we want you there at the parade. And then while you're there, you can stream it on your phone, and you can be able to watch and get our audio from that. So in case you're not close enough to where the PA system is and to hear the parade announcers, because, that's just in one small area, and the parade goes a lot longer than that. Here's a way for you to be able to hear all of the comments about the parade from wherever you're at. So that's one option. Another one is you can watch it later, which is always fun to do, to see something that you were at and then see a recording of it later. I get a kick out of that. And we want to make sure that for our residents in town that can't get out and don't have the option of actually being there, now they can see it and they can be a part of it. And maybe even folks that used to live here. Do you have family members outside of town? We would love for you to share that we're going to be doing this. And I'll get you all the information in the sites where you can see it. We're going to be across social media. We'll be on a YouTube channel. We're going to make it as easy as we can for you to be able to see this. And it's the same type of deal with the farmers market too, that's going to be starting on May 1st. But getting back to that entrepreneurial meetup, that's where I met Kyle for the first time. Was like I said, it's coming at 2.5-3 years ago. I don't remember exactly when. And now we're going to be working together. So if you are an entrepreneur in town or in the area and would like to attend one of these meetups, I'm going to encourage you to get in touch with Nikki Ferguson at Advanced Southwest Iowa Corporation and tell her you want on the list, that you can get out to some of these meetups that they have. They try to have them once a month. Sometimes everybody gets busy, and it's a little more difficult to get one of these scheduled. But I'd love to see a bigger crowd there. And I'm meeting all kinds of wonderful folks. I actually met somebody that I hope to have on the show that we'll tell you more about it when we actually have him on. But he's invented a way, how you have fishing poles that have two parts to it. And this is a way to be able to store them safely and to keep them from getting tangled. It's this little thing that he's built, and he's in production now with him and his partner and they're going to be going around to the different local tackle shops and things to try to get them to be able to sell this. I love these stories. I love entrepreneurs thinking outside of the box and coming up with a new service that maybe didn't exist, or a new product that maybe didn't exist before. So that's why I like going to these entrepreneurial meetups. And a huge thank you to Nikki and everyone at Advanced Southwest Iowa Corporation for putting these on, and for all of the work you do to be able to support the small businesses that we have in our area. We're very, very thankful for that. Speaking of small businesses, we have several of them that we have here as sponsors on the Morning Coffee Show, including Foxco Fabrication. When you need precision metal fabrication done right, look no further than Foxco Fabrication in Council Bluffs. Custom welding, large-scale manufacturing, they're going to bring your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. Whether it's industrial, commercial, or even custom fabrication, they're going to get the job done on time and built to last. Locally owned, proudly made right here in Council Bluffs, built to perform and made to last. That is Foxco Fabrication. Also, GT Motors on Broadway in Council Bluffs. They have an ever-changing inventory. They're going to get you in a quality used vehicle. It could be a truck, could be a large or small SUV, could be a passenger car, even sports cars. GT Motors can help. So check out their inventory online at gtmotorscb.com. But it might be better if you stop by their lot at 21st and Broadway, because sometimes it's a day or two after they get a car there before they actually get it uploaded onto the website. So you may see it before everyone else does online. They also do on-site financing right there. So their goal is to get you in a quality used vehicle before you are able to, if you need one, they want you to have one, and they want to make everything happen to make that possible for you. So GT Motors, 21st and Broadway in Council Bluffs. Also, have you heard about Infotech? It's going to be coming up on May 5th. This is from the AIM Institute. For over 30 years, AIM Institute's been shaping Midwest tech scene, and Infotech 2025 is taking it further, uniting visionary leaders, top startups, industry experts in AI, automation, cybersecurity, business innovation. This is more than an event. It's an immersive experience. It's going to be packed with insights, tools, connections to help you lead the future. It's all May 5th at the Kiewit Luminarium in Omaha. You can get your tickets in the link in the description here to today's show. Also, we want you to, if you have wrestlers in your family, the best wrestler in Council Bluffs, one of the best wrestling clubs around, and you can unlock your wrestler's potential at one of these great wrestling camps. Could be a day camp, which is perfect for beginners. Weekend camps dive a little bit more into personalized coaching and intensive training. Or if you want the Cadillac version, it's the best 20-day camp. And this one is, you're going to get everything that you need. Flagship summer camp featuring 50 practices, drawing young athletes from across the country. That is all at thebestwrestler.com to be able to learn more. Yesterday at the CBBC meeting, one of the folks that was there is Cindy Schmader with a Service Master Restore by Schmader. And, you know, she has told stories about some of the different projects that she's done. And one of the things that really strikes me about what Cindy does is her level of customer service. Yeah, she owns the company and she's out at so many projects and making folks feel better. You know, they even handle, you know, if you have a hoarding situation, that can be a tough subject to tackle, but, you know, she does it with such care and such understanding of what the person is going through and helping them get there, and even going back and checking on them after it's over with. She's telling me all of this, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, this is somebody that I really want to do business with. You know, when disaster strikes, this is the company that you want to get a hold of. So that is Service Master Restore by Schmader. And you can look her up online and just get that information into your calendar, because it's going to be important to have when you need it, and you don't want to have to go looking for it later. All right. And we have reached the end of another week here on Morning Coffee. It's really hard to believe. Looks like it's going to be a little bit rainy later on today and kind of a chilly weekend. And I've been looking at the extended forecast, and things are warming up. I've been, you know, whining and complaining about getting out and going camping, and I haven't been able to do that yet. But, you know, maybe next weekend. I'm seeing lows in the upper 40s, highs in the upper 60s. We're still early enough that the bugs won't be out yet. That, to me, is ideal. And spend some time in the woods. The trees are starting to bud. I'm starting to see more and more of them with tiny little leaves coming out. Saw a tree yesterday that was in full bloom in flowers, whatever kind of tree it was. Could have been one of those Bartlett pear trees or Cleveland pear trees. I used to have a couple of those Cleveland pear trees, and they were real pretty, but they're not actual fruit trees. I don't know why they call them pear trees. I'm not a horticulturist, so I'm not even really sure why they talk about all that. But again, want to thank you for all of the encouragement that we continue to receive here on the show. And I'm humbled by it, that you say it's a good thing to have something that focuses locally on what's going on right here. And that's our goal. You know, I was talking with somebody yesterday at that entrepreneurial meetup about what it is that I do. And this is just a different kind of media. And it's a way to bring information and to highlight local people that may otherwise have just flown under the radar, and you may have never known about them at all. And there's so many wonderful things that are going on here in Council Bluffs. And that's the goal of Morning Coffee, is to put a spotlight on those things. We're not ignoring the negative. We're not saying that negative things don't exist, but we also need to highlight the positive, and we need to put a focus there. And that's what we need to be growing. And there's so many positive things happening here. And I'm really excited to be able to tell you some of those stories. If you know of one, if I don't care if it has to do with a nonprofit, maybe it's just a personal story that you would like to be able to share. Reach out to me. I'd love to have you on the show. You don't actually have to come to the studio. If you've been watching, you know that we do these things completely online, and I can do it. If your computer doesn't have a webcam, we can do it strictly with a smartphone and get you on that way and to be able to talk. If you're nervous about it, give me a call, and we'll see whether or not I can talk you down a little bit from being so nervous, because I do my best to make sure that you're comfortable with what it is that you're talking about. I would hate for anybody to have a negative experience, and I've yet to have one. I hear all the time after I finish an interview, Wow, that was easier than I thought. Thank you. That's the point. And it's just a conversation. It's just two people talking. That's the idea. And that's what I love about this technology. It's different than what I used to do with my career in radio. I'm just talking out to random people. My buddy Jeff used to say, we get paid to sit in a tiny room and talk to invisible people. This is a little bit different. I'm looking into a camera. I'm trying hard not to be as animated as I used to be, and I'm still fidgeting. You can see that, but I used to really be animated when I was talking on the radio in order to increase my voice inflection. I don't do that now because I'm looking into a camera. So I'm trying to sit as still as I can, but I haven't gotten completely great at that yet. I see some radio folks in Omaha that have podcasts now, and that's something that I notice about them. They're still fidgety. Yeah, they move around quite a bit because we're used to just sitting in the background and nobody can see us. But this type of platform has been a huge boost to a lot of folks that were in my industry, in the radio industry, because so many of them have lost their jobs and so many of them they come in and they do their show. And then at the end of it, they find out that, oh, we're done. And they're shown the door. And a lot of times they're escorted out. And where do you go? What do you do? There's so many fewer radio jobs now than there used to be. Well, this is an outlet. This is a way to be able to do that. You go back several months when we had my friend Jamie Grout on from Newton, Iowa, and he started his podcast over there, the Out and About with Jamie Grout. I see that old morning show host Pat and JT have had a podcast for a lot of years that's doing very well. Do you remember just recently, it just happened recently, that there was a Omaha radio personality went by the name Big Party. It was the Big Party Show. And he has his podcast out now. And that's phenomenal. I'm so happy that this outlet exists and they can continue to get out there and do that. If you yourself would like to talk about the possibility of having a podcast, let's have the conversation. I'd love to talk to you about that. There is a stat that's out there that is accurate that says 90%, 90% of the podcasts that have been started didn't make it past episode 3. That's a huge, huge number. People think there's just this huge amount of podcasts that are out there and you just get lost. There's not as many as you think. Yeah, they're out there, and the number is pretty good, but 90% of them not making it past episode 3, and they're all still sitting out there. If you go to your favorite platform, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcast or Amazon and Audible or any of those, they're all still sitting out there. And if you find one that you like, and then you'll see, oh, they haven't recorded since 2019. They stopped. This was good. Why did you quit? Well, it can get discouraging when you start thinking about, you look at the numbers and you think that you're going to do Joe Rogan numbers, or you're going to do Theo Von numbers, or you're going to do, any of these big time podcasters that are getting millions of downloads, and it's just a way to make easy money. It's not. That's not the reality of it. But there is a ton of value to doing that. And a big one is to get you more comfortable talking to people. I'm going to tell you a really brief story that once upon a time, when I was much younger, before I ever went into radio, and I didn't get into radio till I was 25, but when I was much younger, I was scared to death to talk in front of people. This thing right here, no, there'd been no way. Couldn't pick up the phone and call a girl. I was too scared. I was just unbelievably nervous. And then I had somebody tell me that, wow, you got a great voice. You should be on the radio. And that just kind of triggered something in my head. And then I watched a movie. This is going to sound really cheesy. There's a movie, it's a Christian Slater movie. I think it came out in 1989 or 1990. It's one of those two. It's called Pump Up the Volume. And it's this cheesy 80s movie about a kid that his parents moved him to the Southwest and got him a ham radio. And the kid started this pirate radio station with a ham radio, and he's just talking to nobody. He didn't think anybody was listening. And then slowly the young people in the community started to listen, and he kind of became a voice for them. And I was watching what it was that this young man was doing, and he was incredibly shy out in public. But when he got behind the microphone, he really became he came into his own and was able to his true personality and who he was able to come out, and that planted a seed in me. And it was I would have been about 21, I think, when that movie came out. It was 4 years later before I got into radio. And the very first time that I was able to be on the air in a professional capacity, meaning I was getting paid, it was 8:00 at night on, I think it was a Wednesday night, and I had to do 5 minutes of news on a radio station called KIFG in Iowa Falls, Iowa. And I had some printed out. This is the old dot matrix printers. Do you remember those? If you're my age, you might. And the thing was just running all the time. And I had about a 5-minute newscast that I had to do. And I was sitting there, and these were the switches they flipped back and forth. And I'm just sitting there scared out of my mind that I'm going to be going on the air. And I knew the song was ending. I had to talk. And I flipped that switch, and I started to read this news copy, which, by the way, I had been reading all hour long since it had come out because I was scared to death I was going to mess something up. I got through it. And after I hit the CD player, because we were playing songs through a CD player then, and I could sit back and relax. And then the adrenaline rush hit me, and I was hooked. That was it for me. There was nothing else that I wanted to do but to be able to sit. And the fear didn't go away for a while. I was scared every time, but I knew that I found what it was that I wanted to do with my career. And it ups and downs, ins and outs, and the radio industry has changed quite a bit. The main reason that has changed is because there's so many other options now. It's not what it was. Advertisers back then, you if you wanted to do mass advertising, you had radio, you had television, you had magazines and newspapers, and that was about it. And now you couldn't make a list. It's too long of where you can put your advertising dollars. And that's the reason why everything has changed. And they can't afford to pay people the way that they used to anymore. And it's just completely different. And that's why I do things this way now. And I believe that this is the future. I think that ultimately, internet delivered media will probably be the only way that things go. I mean, with the internet, the traditional way of getting a radio signal or a television signal, that technology is kind of obsolete. There's really no reason for it anymore because it can come to you this way. But you know how we are. We don't like change very much. And it's why the traditional, I personally have a television antenna a digital antenna that hangs on my wall in order to be able to pull into local stations from Omaha on television. So, I'm still one of them, but I think that eventually the internet's going to replace it all. And so that's why I believe that this is the future. And that's why I'm so grateful that I'm seeing radio people get into this after they've lost their gig and they're not in it anymore. And also, real quickly, this is just for me. This is not for, I know that no one listening to this, the chance of knowing this person is not, but somebody that was always very, very kind to me in the radio industry the whole time that I knew him just passed away the other day. His name was Pat Crocker. And Pat was getting affiliates on with the network that I worked for in Denver. And that's what he continued to do with his career out there. And from what I understand, he was playing in a hockey game at the age of 63 and had a heart attack and passed away. Pat was one of the good guys. He was just a wonderful man. Always had time for me. And just, I remember sitting in his office and holding a baseball that he had, I think his son had caught at Coors Field, the Rockies game in Denver. And I thought, I've never had one actual game played Major League ball in my hand before. This is kind of cool. But he was always encouraging and everything. So Pat, will miss you. And that was it was sad news when I heard that earlier. So anyway, all right. I said I was going to wrap things up about 10 minutes ago, and I'm still jabbering on and talking. Thank you so much for a wonderful week. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm Todd Studer. and we'll see you back here Monday morning.